The first rule is stand up straight with your shoulders back. It's like, get ready. You've got things to do. There's chaos to confront. I'm making this video because I don't really know what else to do.
This is a YouTube video Dr. Jordan Peterson recorded on September 27, 2016. Back then, he was an obscure psychology professor at the University of Toronto.
I think that some of the things that I say in my lectures now might be illegal. I think they might even be sufficient for me to be brought before the Ontario Human Rights Commission under their amended hate speech laws.
Peterson was afraid of Bill C-16, a law he claimed would force him to use gender-neutral pronouns like they or them instead of him or her. He refused, and protests followed.
You have no idea if I'm your enemy. You have no idea about me.
You won't use my pronouns, so I'm pretty sure you're my enemy, yes.
Yeah, well, I know you think that, but I don't believe that using your pronouns is going to do you any good in the long run. I think it'll do quite the contrary.
What?
These videos all went viral, and Jordan Peterson became the most infamous intellectual in Canada overnight.
You are a provocateur.
I never said
You're like
anything.
the alt-right that you hate to be compared to. You want to stir things up.
I'm only a provocateur insofar as when I say what I believe to be true, it's provocative.
All the attention pushed Peterson's new book, 12 Rules for Life, to the tops of the bestsellers list. It's a manual for young men that's equal parts pop psychology and self-help, but it also includes Peterson's unique spin on gender studies, which includes a lot of rankings of men and women on scales of 1 to 10, and a few direct repudiations of the feminist movement. The success of the book prompted a nationwide tour of sold-out theaters filled with adoring fans.
Folks, we are sold out, so please take every seat. There are seats that are reserved, but it's $3.
I came all the way out here from Pennsylvania because he came to me in a point in my life where I really needed someone to look up to.
If you're highly educated, you realize where he's coming from, but if you're not highly educated, you understand what he's saying. This guy is got magnetism.
Dr. Peterson has changed my life. He has reminded me that I should first and foremost clean my room.
The first rule is stand up straight with your shoulders back. It's like, get ready. You've got things to do. There's chaos to confront. There's order to establish and revivify. And there's evil to constrain. And so that's what 12 Rules for Life is about.
After the talk, Peterson's fans lined up to ask questions. These were the first two.
Could Jewish individuals use their position of power to seek out revenge against places like Europe and Russia that have a history of expelling Jews?
Hold it.
As you know, last month, the New York Times wrote about a Pentagon program investigating the UFO phenomenon. I wonder what your thoughts are on the UFO phenomenon, specifically alien abductions, and how the Nephilim and the Book of Enoch might be involved.
Okay, so
After his sold-out show in New York, I met Dr. Peterson at his home in Toronto. We started off discussing his work, but the conversation quickly veered into something else. Who is the target audience? Who are you trying to reach?
Well, partly me, and then partly people who feel that there might be more in them than they're currently manifesting. People who've been fed a nauseating saccharine diet of rights and freedoms for like 50 years with no counterbalance of responsibility. And most people find almost all the genuine meaning in their life in the adoption of responsibility.
It seems to me that there's sort of two versions of you that are floating around. The one is the scholarly work that you've done over your career.
Yeah.
And then there's this online version. I mean, do you feel split at all right now?
Fragmented is more the accurate than just split. The political split that you're talking about is the humanities at the universities have become intolerably corrupt. They don't teach people to read. They don't teach them to think. They don't teach them to speak. They don't have them read great works. They've become indoctrination factories for a social justice ideology.
I have a personal theory that I wanted to run by you, and it is that college right now and universities are their own ecosystem, and that professors and students both have been sort of trapped in a war of ideas, as you put it. that keeps escalating. But that once you walk outside the gates of that university, that it seems very contained to the university. What I don't see is sort of this sort of veering towards apocalypse.
Oh yeah, it's spreading into HR, into corporations throughout the U.S. through HR departments, very, very rapidly.
In what ways, though? In a way that is not sort of like, hey,
Well,
how about you not grab like the ass of your coworker?
NBC is regulating hugging, right? And not only that,
do you not feel like that was out of a response of these sorts of stories, like of generations of men sort of taking advantage?
It's not easy to solve a complicated problem, and like ready-made ideological solutions don't work. They just make it worse.
But come on, that's just like a maxim. You're not actually addressing the question, which is like, isn't there harm that is trying to be solved?
There isn't a question. There's a set of questions, and no one's posing them. Here's a question: can men and women work together in the workplace?
Yes, I do it.
How do you know?
Because I work with a lot of women.
Right. Well, it's been happening for what, 40 years? And things are deteriorating very rapidly at the moment in terms of the relationships between men and women. Is there sexual harassment in the workplace? Yes. Should it stop? That'd be good. Will it? Well, not at the moment it won't, because we don't know what the rules are.
Do you think men and women can work in the workplace together?
I don't know.
Without sexual harassment?
We'll see.
We'll see. How many years will it take for men and women working in the workplace together?
More than 40.
To get a sense.
We don't know what the rules are. Like what? Here's a rule.
Don't
How about no makeup in the workplace?
Why would that be a rule?
Why should you wear makeup in the workplace? Isn't that sexually provocative?
No.
It's not?
No.
Well, what is it then? What's the purpose of makeup?
Some people would like to just put on makeup.
Why?
I don't know why.
Why do you make your lips red? Because they turn red during sexual arousal. That's why. Why do you put rouge on your cheeks? Same reason.
I mean, look.
How about high heels?
What are they for? What about high heels?
What about them? They're there to exaggerate sexual attractiveness. That's what high heels do. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't use sexual displays in the workplace. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that that is what they're doing. And that is what they're doing.
Do you feel like a serious woman who does not want sexual harassment in the workplace, do you feel like if she wears makeup in the workplace, that she is somewhat being critical?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do think that.
One of the things that you've talked about is that a lot of times you talk to these young men who are sort of flirting with far-right ideologies, and you try and bring them back. Like, what is that process like? How do you bring someone back from the far right?
Tell them a better story.
What is the better story?
Grow the hell up. Take your place in the world. You've got something to contribute. Make a plan. Live as an individual. Stay away from the identity politics pathology. It's just an excuse for failing to live your life in a respectable and noble manner. It's a way better story than like go wave your idiot far-right flag at some rally with a bunch of pasty-faced morons. What kind of pathetic behavior is that? So it's time to grow the hell up.
Are you worried at all that you're sort of attracting a crowd that you might not want to attract?
No, I'm not. I'm worried always that I'll make a mistake in what I say. Impulsive mistake, careless mistake, that I won't be on top of things in a combative interview, that sort of thing. And then I'll make a mistake. I've been worried about that almost to the exclusion of everything else for the last 15 months. But I'm not worried about the impact of what I'm doing because the evidence is overwhelming that it's positive.
Thank you.